What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka Coach Ke, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, we're finally on the June 2018 budget. So this budget is going to be a little bit different, and you guys will see that when I do my paycheck to paycheck budgeting. For those of you guys who are new, the majority of my budget with me videos are actually my paycheck to paycheck budget. I basically do everything ahead of time as far as like doing the layout and stuff, just so the video is not like an hour long. Just me personally, I don't like that. So let's start off with the monthly spread. So there has been nothing that has changed except the fact that this is my very first budget where I'm 100% debt free. I got rid of my car note, which is my last debt, and you guys will see in the upcoming video where I go through like what my debts were, how much they were, my interest rates, all of that good stuff. So I'm not going to go into detail on this video, but just know this is my first debt free budget, you guys. So my budget is going to be a little bit different when we get to the paycheck to paycheck part. For those of you all who are new, one thing that you will notice is the fact that most of my bills come at the second half of the month. I did that purposely because for most people, their rent or mortgage is usually the largest expense, as it is for me. So I have found, and I've done this years ago, like I did this a long time ago, that when I separate all the rest of my bills from my rent, it makes things a whole lot smoother throughout the week and throughout the months. So basically, I don't have anything due as far as all my knick-knack bills until my basically like my fourth paycheck of the month. So I'm estimating to have about 9 paychecks this month, so that should be pretty cool. And yeah, so I don't know if you guys could see it before, but my quote for the month is, "If you can dream it, you can do it." And that is a quote by Walt Disney. I chose that quote this month because one of my biggest goals and dreams was to become debt free, and I have now done that. So that was just a reminder to myself, like, look, you really manifested that. So let's go on to the next page. Here is the second layout of all of my fixed expenses. So again, nothing has changed. You guys will see that I write July, so I write the following month's rent or mortgage, and I'll show you guys why I do that when we do the paycheck to paycheck budget. Electricity, I did change this to $85. I forgot what it was last month, but now that we are finally in the hotter months, of course my AC is blasting. I live in a townhouse that does have a basement. I looked on the usage app and it said that my bill for this month should be anywhere between, I think it said $50 and $75, so I just added $10 to that just in case. And then my gas bill I went down on significantly, and this will probably go down again next month because I don't really use my gas for anything. I pretty much, now with my new lifestyle of eating, I pretty much do juices and smoothies and a salad throughout the day. And then for dinner, I usually have something that I just cook in my new wave. I very rarely use my stove ever. So this is probably going to go down again next month. Everything else is the same. Of course, I don't have cable. Down here, these are all kind of like knick-knack bills that I have for my business every month. And then of course my chiropractor is there. So my total fixed expenses for the month is estimated at $1,353.05. And then for my everyday expenses, since this is a 5-week month for me because I go on a Friday to Friday basis, and just to show you guys what I mean, so I'll show you here. So basically all the income I earn from Saturday to Friday pays for all of my expenses for Friday until Thursday. So basically when we come back here, because I have 5 Fridays throughout the month, that means that some of my expenses went up by an extra amount per week, basically, because I do it on a weekly to weekly basis. So my groceries, I usually try to stay within about $50 per week. Some weeks are more, some weeks are less, so that gives me $250. Personal household, I did just stay at $100 instead of going up to $125. This is where I need like toilet tissue, paper plates, stuff for my hair. I actually just bought toilet tissue today, and so that's enough rolls to last me probably about 2 months, so I should be good. And my hair products aren't really that expensive. And then restaurants are $125. I do eat out on Fridays and Saturdays, so I try to limit myself to about $25 per week. Gas, I'm doing $125, which is probably a little bit more overestimated than normal, but I'm gonna stick to that. With me reducing my number of days per month to work to 6 days a month, which I've pretty much been staying up to about 6 to 8 anyway. I only had to fill up one time this month, so, and I still have like a little less than half of a tank, so this is gonna last me probably another week or two. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stick with 125 there. Last month I did 150 and I only spent 44 bucks. Shopping, I'm gonna keep at 100 instead of going up to 125 as well, because I didn't do a lot of shopping at all this past month, and I don't really expect to do very much for June either. Miscellaneous, I have 150. Miscellaneous is stuff for, like, my birthday is coming up this month, so we'll probably go out to eat, so that'll come out of my miscellaneous budget instead of restaurants. Any birthday cards, gifts, anything like that. My sister should be moving out towards the end of this month or early July, so most of my shopping and miscellaneous budget will probably go to buying stuff for her apartment, because this is her first time moving out. Supplements, I'm keeping at 75. Business is 450. I did go up on this a little bit because I've been going over budget in this category for a minute now. I do need to buy my plane ticket for my business cruise that is coming up at the end of July. So yeah, that's that. But I don't have any trips this coming month, thank goodness. So for my car, I still need to get the hole in my front seat fixed. I did not put the hole there, just in case you didn't know. But they said it's going to be about $60, and but I don't know if that was an estimation with labor or not. So I just went ahead and went up to $100. And yeah, I should be getting that fixed this month. I know I said I would last month, but I just wanted to throw as much as I could at my debt so I can get that paid off. So yeah, and I just didn't get around to doing it anyway. So for my total budgeted expenses, for my everyday expenses, that's $1,375. So I want to see how much this would cost me just to live, just for my basic expenses. So I basically need to earn at least $2,800 a month for me to sustain this budget, which is literally no issue with doing. So now let's go ahead and get into the paycheck to paycheck budget, which is what most of you guys come here for. So as I stated just a little while ago, this is a 5-week month for me. So the way that I write out the dates is the date for the actual expenses. Now the thing that is going to change with this budget, for the last few budgets I've been doing a budget of $4,000 per month, but I went down to $3,500 for this budget, and probably from here on out, to be honest with you guys. And that is for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we're coming up on the summer months, so the business that I'm in can sometimes be a little bit slow during the summer months, because yeah, I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, it could be a little bit slower. And then also I'm going down on the number of days that I'm working just a little bit, but that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is that I'm about to change my W-4 allowances to 0, so that they're completely overtaxing me. And that is for the simple fact that with my business income, I'm self-employed. I do not get taxed at all on any of my income. So me being overtaxed on my less than part-time income should be able to balance me out, so that my tax liability is a little bit less, and I don't have to pay so much in taxes out of my pocket every year. So that has been like my goal with getting back to work anyway, just helping to reduce my tax liability, just me really missing nursing altogether and missing that interaction that I cannot get besides having it with my clients and with my patients. So I divvied up the budgeted income a little weird, I guess you could say, because I front loaded it the first 3 weeks of the month, and then I just like went down to $120 for the last 2 weeks. I don't actually expect to only make $120, but that is just the way that I divvy up the $3,500. Sometimes I might divvy it up to where I front loaded on the back end. I just kind of look at my different income sources and I try to estimate, and by the time I estimate what it should be like these 3 weeks weeks, then I don't have very much left over to budget out for the last 2 weeks. So then I just kind of split it in half basically. So my budgeted expenses, which were just the groceries, personal, household, gas, that stuff, comes out to be $850 for the month. If I divide that by the 5 weeks, that leaves us with $170 per week. And then of course I need to add in my July rent, the supplies, supplements, my business, and then me getting my car fixed. So the reason why it's July rent is because the way that I do it, I basically, at some point during the month, I take the money for my rent for the next month and I put it off into a savings account for me to not touch it. That has been a huge game changer for me, because a lot of people, you know, they see what they have in their checking account throughout the month and they overspend and they realize, oh man, I just spent my rent money. So I don't really have a spending problem, but it definitely helps for me to just push that money off to the side. Excuse me, that is an alert that I have. But yeah, it helps for me to just push my money off to the side and just not even worry about rent, because rent is basically paid for the month. So the first thing that I'm going to do in each line is to go ahead and write in the budget of $170 for each week. And I always tend to do that first, because if I don't, I will forget to do it. All right, so now let's get into my regular expenses. So again, the only thing that I have besides rent at the beginning of the month is basically nothing. So I have no bills that are coming out of this check at all, or this income. And then we start over here. So the first thing is my MailChimp for $10. And that is literally that for that week. So now let's get into this week, and now is when the budget starts getting a little bit heavier. So I'm actually gonna put all of my regular bills in, and then I'll put the rent and all of that stuff in later after I see where it could fit in. So here the first thing is going to be my internet, which is through Spire. Okay, so out of this check, we have the internet, my cell phone bill, and my car insurance, chiropractor, and then HostGator for my hosting of my websites. So this week, the very first thing that I have is my affiliate program where we sell financial services. This is just my monthly fee to be able to sell the services and also get credit services for myself. Okay, so first things first, this is supposed to be Spectrum, not Spire. I have internet through Spectrum. Spire is my gas company. So with this week, again, I have the affiliate program monthly fee coming out. This is another service that I have for business. And then roadside assistance comes out, my dental insurance comes out, and then my gas bill comes out as well. So then in the last week, all we have here should be my Cigna, and then we have Ameren, which is my electricity bill, and I estimated that to be $85. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do some calculations to see how much money that we have left over after the bills in each of the pay weeks, figure out if we need to reconcile anywhere, and then of course at the end we need to add in our other expenses. So up here we're going to start off here, we're going to take away the budgeted expenses, and that leaves us with the $950. Okay, that's it for that week. And then here is where we start getting negative. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my red pen for this one. And then, of course, because, this is the same. We're already going to start off negative here as well. Okay, so normally what I try to do when I have negative weeks like this is to try to move some things around and pay some things early. Most of these things I can't necessarily pay early. I guess I could, but it would just be like really weird and throw things off, because some of these, when I pay it like that, is going to make that become my auto pay date, and I don't want to do that. Probably the only one that I'll end up paying early is my gas bill. Oh. Yeah, my gas bill, I can move that one. I don't think this one closes out quick enough for me to be able to move that one. So I'm just going to tell you guys, if you have negative weeks, try your hardest to move things around. And you can watch some of my old budget with me videos to see that most of the time I do reconcile down to not having a negative week. But here's the thing, I front load the front part so much that by the time I get to the end of the month, because for the most part my spending habits are very well controlled, I'll have the money in my account to pay for these bills, if that makes sense. And the other thing is, because I'm not on an every dollar budget necessarily, I keep more than a normal buffer in my checking account. I actually keep about 2 to 3 times my monthly expenses in my checking account at all times, so that when I have things like this happen, even if I was to overspend during these weeks, it's okay because I have that buffer. And I will link up in the eye in the sky one of the reasons why I keep that much in my checking account, the millionaire that I learned that from, and all of that good stuff, if you have not checked that video out. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and add in my rent and the other expenses. So I'm going to put my rent off to the side in this first week, just to go ahead and get it out of the way. My rent is $8.10, and then the money order amount is 88 cents. So that leaves us with $139.12. And then I'm thinking, trying to figure out when I want to get my car fixed. My supplements, I'm probably going to have to order this week. So let me check that off. And I don't order all of my supplements at the same time because they kind of start running out at different parts of the month. And actually I only order one. Everything else I buy in the stores, but I'm just going to put the whole 75 here. It leaves us with $465. And then, oh, you know what? I think I might switch this because I'm going to need to, okay, this is a first. All right, I'm going to add this rent back in here. Because what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go ahead and purchase at least my plane ticket here. And that should run me about $350. So that'll leave me with $600. And then we're gonna put the rent, I'm gonna put my rent here. So that leaves me with $152.60, and then I still have what, $100 of my business that I need to put in. So let's go ahead and put that in. I don't have any actual business trips, so I'm gonna put that in here. And then now it's getting my car fixed. So I'll probably just go ahead and try to get my car fixed in this particular week. Okay. So again, I usually try to reconcile, but The best week for me to reconcile and put most of these bills is here, but these bills won't even be ready to be paid here. So like I said, sometimes it just can't be worked out that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight what should be left over or my profit loss for each week. And now let's get into the last part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in my weekly profit or loss. Sorry, I talk profit loss because I'm in business, but the negative and positive weeks, and then we're going to see what we're going to try to end up doing with whatever is left over. Again, because I'm not on an every dollar budget, every dollar is not going to be accounted for. That's just not how I do my budgeting. 152.60. Then we have 187.48, 158.17. All right, so let's see what we got here. So we have left over $671.95. So normally what I've been doing is putting $200 a month into my income tax thinking fund. I believe that I'm going to up that to $350. That'll give me a yeah. So from this, what I'm going to do is do, let's see, tax thinking fund will be $350, and then I want to put $250 into a car sinking fund. Now I don't know if for sure I will start this sinking fund this month or not. I might wait until next month, but I do want to start putting, so my car loan was $262.53 a month. I want to start putting about $250 a month off into a car fund just for future repairs, regular maintenance, and you know, the replacement of a car probably some years down the line. That way I don't have to get back into debt if my car goes out on me and I need to purchase another car. I would rather just have the cash to pay. So let's go ahead and subtract this. That leaves us with $321.95 and then $71.95. So I'm not even going to account for what's going to happen to this. And then of course, like I said, I underestimate my income anyway, so I should actually have way more than that left over, and then I'll figure out what to do with it from there. So that is my June budget with me video. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Before I get going, let me just highlight, this is kind of what I expect to have left over in my budget. Just, I guess you could say, as a buffer, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video, which should be Friday. That should be my budget results video. So I will, look, alarm's just going off. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. Sound.